Okay, Michael, why don't you start us off?
That wasn't much of an introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, your boss, Michael Scott.
Oh, still lame. Okay. All right. And the best way to start is to hit start. And up comes the toolbar. That's what she said. What we have to do here.
All right, guys, welcome back. I think this could be the video, finally, that we have ourselves a filtration system that is 100% up and running. So,
Okay, do not worry. All of your questions are about to be answered. Cell phones and pagers off, please.
Oh, this looks promising.
You won't be disappointed.
one of the things I just wanted to point out real quick was this paper filter that came from the Bellagio tanks. Remember, I talked about this so many times from Ohio Fish Rescue. I grabbed this from Big Rich and Josh. Great channel. Make sure you guys check them out. They are closing in on 100,000 subscribers. So we got these paper filters probably 6-7 months ago. Like I said, there was 2 of them. This one's going to be on the 1,000-gallon setup, and the other one is going to be on the 900. But one of the things I wanted to point out real quick is you don't want to get stumped on the supply and return lines, and that I almost did because I had this thing backwards.
Okay, honestly, it is unlikely that I was going to figure this out anyway.
So what I did was I actually did a water check. I took it to the sink, and just kind of looking down inside this barrel here, what you want is you want the water to come up this pipe so that it kind of overflows, goes down the sidewalls, and then enters through the paper filter, which is in the other room right now, soaking in bleach. And the way I had it before, it was just the opposite, where pretty much the water was going down the hole and leaving. So I checked that under the sink, and now we're good to go. But that being said, a couple more parts and pieces have arrived from Bulk Reef Supply. Here is that 1.5-inch Spears gate valve. So with that, I can actually dial it in and get to exactly where I want to be on that 25 gallons per minute. And what you're probably going to see here, now a lot of these pipes are not glued. All I'm doing is I'm just kind of laying stuff in, kind of feeling this out. But you're probably going to see now we're coming out the paper filter, coming over here, and we're going to drop into the UV sterilizer, and then back up and over into the sump. So probably going to see the gauge probably on top of this back-to-back 90, because I want it out of the way because I don't want to bump it. So you're going to see that in a little bit. But other than that, it's just one of those things where everything just starts to get delayed out. You know, for me, in this situation, I like to stare at it for a couple of days, because once I cut everything and glue it, and obviously we paint it, that's ball game. So I like to just kind of lay it out and sometimes stand back for a couple hours and really bring it in. We're gonna get into these here in a few moments. We're gonna drill this out a lot. Like I said, a lot more parts arrived from Bulk Reef Supply, and now I've got the unions that are here.
I declare bankruptcy!
1.5 inches, we're going to have these down in between the tanks. So if in the event I need to break the 2 tanks apart, I can do that. And so now we're gonna fire up the hole saw, and we're gonna fire up the circ saw. I need to put openings on the top of these tanks. I think we're gonna do probably maybe 14 inches by 14 inches. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the hole saw and I'm gonna do the 4 corners, so they got a nice radius, and then I'll connect those holes with a circ saw and make it so this plate pops out here and over there, and that'll give me access down inside the chambers. And then we're going to start drilling the holes on either side for the supplies, and obviously the pipes are going to be coming out here 90 and down, obviously, you know, through that union and down into the other one. Obviously that water is going to rise, and then obviously we're going to have these drilled out here on the top with the bulkheads in a 2 by 2 by 1.5 inch sweep T, and then that's going to work its way all back over and then drop back into the sump. So that's where we're at. Let's get working, cutting, slicing, and dicing, and let's get this thing done.
I know, it's bland.
It's never gonna happen.
Here's what I was
Dude, you
thinking.
gotta believe.
All right, guys, I have moved the 2 tubs outside. We're getting ready to knock this out and drill the holes and cut the big old squares out. One thing I almost screwed up on, if you look right down here, there's actually a hole right there, and I had these upside down and I had them marked out, but if you look closely, you will also see the square that I put on a magic marker there. That was the hole that I was getting ready to cut. So this was completely upside down, and then I thought, well, heck, the hole's already there. Maybe we'll use the hole, so even if I need to drain these someday, you know, just turn a valve and I can drain the tank. So, like I said, this was on the top. So all that being said, pretty much I flipped these upside down and I started over. So now this is going to be the top. So
Mouth, what is this?
Sit down.
You know what? We're not going to die of radon. We're going to die of boredom. Yeah. Right?
what we're going to do is we're going to take the hole saw and I'm going to put a hole right here in the corners so that we have a nice radius right here. I'm going to do that in all 4 corners on both tanks. And then we're going to take the circ saw and pretty much connect the dots, and this plate should fall to the bottom of the tank. Once that's done, I've already got the 1 hole marked right there. That's going to be the 1 inch. And that's going to be the second one. Remember, this is going to be for the K2 media. That water is going to rise, and then obviously that water is going to come out these 3 marks right here. This is going to be 1.5 inches. They're going to drop right back down. They're going to go here, here, and here. Now here's another thing I also caught. Because this hole's on the bottom, and I'm going to use it for a drain, I didn't want this hole to be too close to this one, bulkhead to bulkhead. So these are about 2 inches up right here from the bottom plate. But this one is up, I believe we're at 4 to 4.5. So I had to account for this just in the event, obviously, when the time comes when the other bulkhead goes in, I've got some room between the 2 bulkheads. So obviously the water will go in there. It's going to rise up. And then it's going to come out here, 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 and here. All of that's going to be 1.5 inches. So you're going to see something that's kind of like laid out like this right here. Obviously 4 of those, and then obviously it'll take back off to the sump. And I'm thinking that once we cut these out, I should have some material left over that I can create the patch that is required right here. So obviously that's not going to work out. There's a big old hole. I got the problem with that one, and I got the same problem with this one. So we do have a quick patch that we'll have to weld that in there. All right, that being said, let's start drilling and cutting. Alright guys, welcome back. It's the next day. We ran out of sunlight last night, and I just put the tanks on their side, and I started knocking out this first hole right here. This is the first 1 inch bulkhead. So I was just kind of getting ready, then all of a sudden something kind of caught my eye, and I'm kind of stumped right now, because during the night The bottom of the tank cracked.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No! No!
That thing is probably 14 inches in length.
That's what she said.
And I'm kind of scratching my head right now because I don't know what to do. Now there is a third one of these that's still in the basement, but I didn't expect that. I do know that we had, let me flip this on its side. There was at one time like a flange that was on this. And if you look real closely, you can kind of see the holes right here that this flange attached to the acrylic. And there was always this seam right here. And I did notice that it was, you know, kind of opening up a little bit, but I was going to probably take on some weld-on 3 or weld-on 4, and I was going to blast this seam. And obviously it went all the way down here to the bottom, but I don't know how this transferred through, but it did. Let me lay this back down on its side. But that line kind of came right through here, and it must have put just enough pressure on it, and it opened up the bottom of the tank. So, what the heck? Alright, so that's where we're at. I'm going to have to try to figure out what we're going to do here. I don't know if I want to patch that or grab the spare one that's in the lower level. Alright guys, we're back in the man cave area where the aquarium is going. New phone today, and hopefully the quality of the filming is a little bit better. So we'll find out once we pull this into the Vegas program. Now that's what I actually use to do all my editing and create the videos for you guys on YouTube. So we'll find out here in a day or two how this whole thing gets pulled in and how the quality looks before we release it. But what does not look good is obviously you can see a major difference between tank number 1 and tank 2. The tank on the left is looking pretty bad for the fact that it was actually caught up in a fire, and what you're seeing is actual smoke damage. Now I've used a lot of different products to try to clean this, and nothing is really taking this off. But what is definitely taking it off is the Novus 1, 2, and 3. Now I did a quick cleaning with the Goo Gone right on the surface just to kind of prep it a little bit, and then I went right into the number 3, the heavy scratch removal. So I applied that right here on the bottom left, and I worked on it for about 10-15 minutes, but look at the major change right there from the left to the right. Now you're only seeing the outer portion of the acrylic. I didn't do anything on the inside of the tank, and obviously I didn't do anything on any of the other walls, so you're only seeing just about 10-15 minutes worth of work on this front face only. But look at that major change right there. So apparently that stuff's working pretty daggone good. So we're going to spend probably a couple hours or whatever it takes to get this chamber clean, and then we're moving on as far as plumbing all this and getting it rolling. So I just want to do a quick shout out that to this Novus 1, 2, and 3. Obviously, like I said, I've only done the number 3. I'm probably going to jump on number 2 and number 1 and make this thing look good. So other than that, we're going to get cleaning, and we're moving on. You ready?
Yep.
All right, we got to get this done, man. Everybody in the world is waiting for water. Well, at least 302 people on YouTube. All right, guys, here we go. Let's get cleaning. All right, guys, that chamber on the right cleaned up very nice. I'm actually very pleased with that. But as you can see, I put the bulkheads in, and we're starting to kind of piece this together so you have a better visual of what it is that I'm trying to create. And I think it's going to work out pretty nice. Now, obviously, with the 2 holes on the bottom of the chambers, one there and one there, obviously we can't have those chambers sitting on the ground. We need to raise those up. So I think I've come up with, we're going to build a 2x6 wall, or in this case like a deck, a raised deck, with some plywood on it. And what that'll do is it'll give me the ability to put obviously the bulkheads on both of these. Probably going to have a 90 and then a valve control. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be able to work that around the back. It's going to come around the 120-gallon sump, and I'm going to actually tie it in over here with the house drain. So now I'll have the ability, if I want in the future, to turn a valve, and I can either drop this one or I can drop this one. I doubt I'll ever do that, but at least that option is going to be there because I had no choice because the holes were on the bottom of these acrylic tanks. The other reason why I need to raise these up is if you see over here, I've got the 4 outgoing lines. They're on the same playing field as the return line back to the tank. You can see that this elevation here and this elevation here, they're on the same line. So that's no good. So by raising this up, now this return line here can go right over top this 2-inch pipe and then back into the sump. So kind of a win-win there. The other thing I wanted to point out real quick is that I'm starting to get a little bit nervous because with the motor that's going to be down inside the 120-gallon sump, which does 1,900 gallons an hour, I'm starting to wonder now, as that water rises here, drops down these 90s and drops in over here, right, this water's level is going to rise. I'm starting to wonder now, are we going to be able to push this out fast enough over here on these 4 bulkheads? Or are we going to have a little bit of pushback? Because if you see right here, they're all the same playing field. So at 1,900 gallons an hour, I guess the question is, could this possibly back up and start to overflow? So I'm starting to wonder now if this chamber here might need to raise up 6-7 inches and be just a little bit higher than this one, so we're always pushing down, because that could be catastrophic. So we're looking into that. Other than that, I just need to plug these holes right here, and I guess they'll all start coming together. So I guess this is a bust, guys. Sorry, you're not going to be getting it here on part 15. We will see you on part 16, and hopefully that's the one we're all looking for. But hey, we've come a long way. That's looking good. Till then, we're out of here.
All right, let's quit while we're ahead.
That was so awesome.
That was awesome. Thank you.
Some days I am just on fire. What can I say?